What we're covering is one-click actions, and it's basically kind of show you how to simplify your document processing using a single click. This one-click actions have been has been in the product for a really long time, and part of the reason why we're kind of going back over this is last month when we did our webinar. We asked the question, "Do you know about one-click actions?" And we were kind of shocked at the answer that a majority of people who were on the previous webinar did not know or if we're not using one-click actions, right? So for me, it's definitely, and Michael will probably say this as well. Documents Core Pack, the part of it, the power of it, there's three things that make it really powerful. Number one is the template designer, being able to design your templates and do things, doing a lot of things with those templates. The other thing that we have is the Documents Core Pack for connector for Power Automate and Flow, which allows you to do, flows and also use it with Power Apps as well. The last thing is the dialogue, right? And one of the major parts of the dialogue is the one-click action. So if you're not using the one-click actions, you're kind of not using like a third of what you're kind of paying for, right? So we just kind of want to highlight this and kind of show you guys how to do that. So let's go ahead and get into it. So let's talk a little bit about the Documents Core Pack Dialog, right? Basically, what the Documents Core Pack Dialog is a way to create and process documents from the command bar inside of Dynamics. As you can see here, I've got Dynamics up here. I've got my little Create Document button up there. And what it consists of is basically three steps. When I click that button, the first thing I'm presented with is a list of templates, right? So I have a lot of templates in here, so I got to pick my template out, right? The next thing would be the process settings, right? Where I'm going to choose my file type, PDF, docx, what I want to attach to the document as a email attachment or as a note inside of Dynamics, etc. Whether I want to print that document, save it to SharePoint, etc., etc. There's a ton of different options that you have to kind of, once that document's created, to process that document to kind of get it on further. Last but not least is the review and edit section, where once the document is done, I can actually review it. I can actually like hit the edit button, go in, change some things in my generated document, maybe add some text or whatever to it. So that makes it kind of all nice and easy. So these three steps that go through. So this is available for manual document processing, for single and batch. So I can do like one-offs, like just where I want to create one document, or I can select a X amount of records and actually create a document for each one of those individually as in one go, right? So that's the process. That's the Documents Core Pack Dialog. Most of y'all are probably very familiar with this if you're using Documents Core Pack, right? So let's talk a little bit about one-click actions, right? So what we find a lot of the times is during these three different steps, people are doing the same thing over and over again, right? You're going to find out that, like for example, if I'm generating a quote, most of the time I'm generating it as a PDF. I'm sending it via email, I'm saving it to SharePoint, and then I'm wanting to preview the document. So I've got those, four things that I'm doing over and over and over again, right? So what a one-click action allows you to do is it allows you to set that up so that with one click, where you're clicking one button, right? What it's going to do is it's going to automatically pick this information, these things, these different steps, and then kind of like, and then kind of spit that document out, right? So what it does is I'll have a little button inside of Dynamics. When I click the Create Document button, I'll have a button that says Process the Quote. And with one click, I'm able to do all these things, right? So instead of having to select them, I'm able to do all these things with one click. So it's going to save you processing time, right? So it cuts down on the time that you're going to need to actually do this, and it kind of streamlines the entire process for your users, right? So let's go ahead and talk about a little bit about display rules here. Display rules now, that kind of takes it to the next level, right? And what this allows you to do is only show one-click actions that are relevant for your users. So let's say, for example, on the quote, right, I have two teams, right? I have an accounting team and I have a customer service team. I have, what you're going to find as you start creating these one-click actions, you're going to have a lot of them, right? So what the display rules basically allow you to do, like say for the accounting team needs to be able to process a quote and process basically invoices, right? The customer service team needs to be able to send contracts and send these D8 reports. or generate these D8 reports. Right. So basically, right. So the customer service team does not need to see this, does not need to see these, and the accounting team does not need to see these. Well, with display rules, what this allows you to do is either conditionally select when the one-click action is shown. It can be by security roles. It can be done by business units, and it can also be done by teams. So basically, what I would do is I'd set each one of these individual buttons up just for the accounting team. So if I was a customer service guy and I clicked the create document button, I would only see this. And if I was a part of accounting, I would only see this. Now, this is going to make a lot of more sense when we kind of go into the demo and kind of show this. But yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's talk a little bit about our live demo, right? So today in the demonstration, we're going to be, of course, looking at the dialogue and one-click actions. We're going to step by step. We're going to configure a one-click action, kind of show you the whole process, and then I'm going to show you how to configure some display rules, right? So let me flip over here to my dynamic system real quick. And as you can see here, I'm on invoices, right? So the way this kind of goes is what I have is I have a group of our sales directors, our sales directors, basically, they're in charge of sending out reminders wherein invoices overdue by 30 days, right? So normally what they're going to be doing here is they'll be hitting the create document button when they want to do this. They're going to do this is all manual, right? So then they got to come in here. They got to find the template that they want. You know, there's a lot of templates in here, but this is the one that they basically use. They want to basically send the invoice here. And then let's see here. Let's just wait for this to kind of come together here. They want to create a PDF. Then they want to attach as an email attachment, right? They want to send it to the one particular user. And then let's see here. They want to let's see, use the email template here. Let's find the email template where let's just find this. I go through all my email templates here. These are just regular Dynamics templates or Dynamics email templates or DocumentsCorePack templates. So let's find that invoice overdue reminder. That's the one that I use. So they're clicking these here, and all this other stuff here they're not really worried about. Sometimes they may want to save that invoice to SharePoint. Sometimes they don't. In this case, we're not. So let's go ahead and create this document here. It takes just a second. Basically, what it's doing is grabbing those two templates, right, merging them together, and excuse me. Once it's done, it'll give us our post processing thing. So usually, what they like to do is kind of like preview that invoice. We don't want to be able to edit it, but let's see. So we can edit it or we can preview it. So we can edit in Word Online. So they don't want to be able to do this. They want to be able to preview it, right? So let's go ahead and finish here, just to kind of see what this is actually going to do. Is this going to open that email up, right? And then I'll have my everything together here. So I've got my email here, and let's see here. Very slow this morning. The Dynamics is slow, just like myself. So I've got my email here. I've got my from to. Everything's in there. This is my invoice PDF here, and then I've got my reminder here that the invoice is due. Okay. So what they want to do, what they're gonna, what would be nice is, since we're kind of doing that over and over again, what we want to do here is create kind of a one-click action for this. So it's really relatively simple to do. You've probably seen this right in here. There's a couple little things right up here that you probably just kind of overlooked. But one of the things right here, this little pencil icon, if you open up the dialog and you're an administrator, you'll have this. You can click this little pencil, and basically what that does is it takes you directly to the one-click configuration, right? So I've already got some created in here, so I just want to reactivate these really, really quickly. So I'm going to save that and save that. Oh, wait. Now open that, save it, all right? All right, so I'm going to save those. So what I want to do here, first of all, if I'm creating a new one-click action, let's go ahead right up here and say new. I'm going to create a new one-click action. I'm going to go ahead and give this a name. So this is 30 days overdue, right? So give a description if I want. One other thing, there's a couple of things I'm going to just kind of be going through this really kind of quickly, just with what's relevant. But one of the things is this: is if you're curious about a setting, what it does, um, just hover over the question mark, and it'll tell you exactly what it's going to do. Right. So as you're creating these, if you're curious about a setting, don't forget to hover over this little question mark. It'll tell you exactly what it is. All right. So the name of mine is 30 days overdue. For my template, I know which template I want to use. I have 3 different options here. I can allow user selection, which you saw before, where it's that big list of templates. It can get confusing, especially in larger environments where you have a lot of templates. So here, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and predefine my template that I'm going to be using. And here, all I need to do is look up for invoice, right? So I'm going to use the invoice standard here, this particular one, and go ahead and add that. So I've added in that particular invoice again. So you can allow template editing. You can also do conditional template selection, right? Um, so here we go. So I've gone ahead and done that. Set those 2 up. So now comes the thing where I'm going to do the process settings, right? So I'm going to do a PDF. Excuse me. Again, I attach this as an email attachment. It's going to be coming from me, so you have the ability to do send as, right? If you're sending on behalf of someone else. So here, for example, I'm going to use the contact here, and then select my email template. So let me grab my email template here, the invoice. It is the 30 days overdue, right? So there I have my email template in here. So that's pretty much it. So I have all these other settings and everything like that. So what I want to do is, since I'm not using most of them, I want to go ahead and hide those, right? I want to be able to show and hide certain things. Like, for example, I want the file type always, when I'm creating the invoice, I always want it to be PDF. I don't want to be able to change that. So right over here, right, we have a couple of different options of things that we can do, right? So you can set things as default. You can hide the settings. In this case, I want people to know that they're creating a PDF. So I'm going to show this, but don't allow changes to it, right? So it's going to lock that in as a PDF. Here, again, I want them to know that, yeah, they're creating like an email attachment. Really and truly, they know that that's what they're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that, right? I don't want them to have this ability, so I'll hide this as well. The email sender, we know who it's sending from, so I'll hide that. The recipients, let's say, for example, though, in this particular case, we might want to add more people to it, right? If there's more people that are associated with it, I may want to add more people to it. So I'm going to set this to where it's just not saved, right? So I'm going to be able to select, it's automatically going to pick the contact if there is one, but I'm also going to have the ability to add other people if I want to. Lastly, the email template, I don't need to see that. I know that that's happening here. So I don't want them to, I always want them to be able to review the email before they send it. So we'll hide this one as well. They don't need to print it, right? They don't need to run a workflow. They don't need to run an action. They don't need to run a flow, right? But every now and then we want them to be able to save to SharePoint, right? We want them to be able to save to SharePoint. So I'm not going to save this one just in case they flick it to save to SharePoint. Usually what it'll do, when you run through it one time, the settings that you select, it automatically remembers those. But here, I don't want it to be saved, so that every time SharePoint is unchecked, so they're not accidentally saving these to SharePoint. All right, so I have this all set up. Let's go to the next thing. So I want them to be able to review the document. I want to create a PNG preview to where they see it, but I don't want them to be able to edit the invoice. I don't want them to be changing numbers on the invoice or anything like that. So I'm going to disallow editing on that particular piece. And there we go. I have those reviews pieces set up. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and save this, right? And yeah, go ahead and close this one. So I'll close this out now. So now, when I hit the create document button, I should be presented with 3 buttons, right? Oh, actually 2, just 2 buttons. I might not save that one. So create the invoice and 30 days overdue. This is the one we just created, right? So let's go ahead and go through this again and see what the difference is between just a manual process and just a one-click action, right? So right now, it didn't have to pick the actual template. It automatically did that for me. It lets me know that the file type is PDF. I can pick and choose who I actually want to send this to, right? If there's a contact in there, as I said before, it would actually automatically pick the contact, but in this case, I didn't. And I had the possibility to save to SharePoint or not, right? So let's go ahead and create the document here, right? So again, the same process, a lot less clicks, right? So you're able to do that. So here, I'm no longer able to edit. I've kind of did that out, and I'm able to preview my document, make sure that everything is how it's supposed to be before I say finish, right? And then I have everything just as it was before. So just like 30 days overview, 30 days overdue, the invoice is attached, etc. Exactly how I want it. I can send this then off, right? So let me go ahead and remove this real fast, and then we'll talk about this. So thing is this though, is that in our particular case, we don't want every single salesperson being able to run that, right? We only want um, the sales managers to be able to do that. So, for example, here I've got these two. Let me go back into my one-click actions here, and let me check this one. Yeah. So, um, so this 30 days overdue. So how do I do the display rules? It's a little bit of a tricky setting. So I'll just select this. As you see down here, I have my options here where I can go through, etc. I can delete, I can save it. Right here, this little button right here is for my display rules. So I'll go ahead and click that. Now, again, like I said before, you can do conditions. This is one of those things where, like, so for example, we're going to show and hide uh, one-click actions based on, say, like the one example that I love to use is like states, right? Like if I have certain forms or a certain one-click action or a certain multi-part document that I send to, say, someone in Georgia, yet in someone in Florida, the whole process differs, right? I can have different one-click actions for each and show and hide them based on a field, right? So again, you can do that for other countries. Let's say you have someone that lives in Germany, they get the German version of the document, right? Someone else in France, you want to use the French version of the document. You can kind of set up these different one-click actions based on those. Again, security roles. This is what I'm going to be doing here. Business units and teams, right? So for this particular one, we're going to click security roles, right? And we're going to say new, and we're going to do, this is only going to go to the sales managers. Let's see, sales manager. I get the right one. So, right, sales manager. So now when I say this, only people with the security role of sales manager will be able to see that. Right. So we'll go ahead and save that. Okay. And so, yeah, naturally we'll save again. Right. And then we'll go ahead and close this. So me, right now, my person, right, he's a system admin, right? So I still see, so since I don't have the sales manager role, it's like basically removed from here. Let me go over to my other user that requested this here. So here I have my other user, Jamie. He's one of our sales managers. He's going to be basically doing all these. So I'm able to click right here. And let's see here. Let me create this document. And then what I should see here when I open this, oh, did I mess this up? I think I might have messed this up. I might have picked the wrong role. Can be tricky. It can be tricky. So let's do this. Oops. Let me add. this. Let me just do this. Yeah, it can be pretty difficult sometimes when you pick the wrong thing. Let's see here. Let me add the security role. I think I need to add them all. Those manager. There we go. So we'll save that. And now this should work. There we go. Phew. Yeah, so yeah, it helps to like sometimes even the even the best, right? So now this is only available now to our sales managers, right? So it's only available to people with that security role. As you can see there, I picked the wrong security role, right? That Jamie didn't have, and he was not able to see it. But once I got him the correct security role, he's then able to see it. So it can get a little bit tricky, right? But we got it done. So again, from here, he's able to just to basically do the same thing, have the same options and everything like that. It's only available for people with that sales manager security role, right? So that is just kind of like the small. This is a little small portion. You can get extremely complicated with these, and I kind of want to show you one here. Let's see on our quotes here. We have a little bit. It's a little bit more in depth. I'm not actually going to show that, but let me grab here this one particular one here. Let me go ahead and create document. You can see here, we've got a lot of different rules, a lot of different things going on. We have a few one-click actions in here. As you start to add more and more one-click actions, this can get really convoluted. So you can actually add folders, right? So we have a different folder here that allows us to actually group our one-click actions together, so you can group them, right? You can do a lot of things like, so for example, here you can do pretty anything you can do with Documents Core Pack with the dialogue, you can do in here as well with a one-click action. So for example, here I'm going to send a quote out for an e-signature. It's one that's like really good. So here I'm using user prompts. Again, if you're unfamiliar with it, go to our knowledge base, type in user prompts. You'll get this information here. So I can actually write in a personal note, right? Right. I want to give them maybe a discount code. Their terms is the quote's going to be valid for 60 days, and I'm going to send the quote. The quote was sent or created on, let's say the 27th, right? So go right into my document options. As you can see here, this is the whole e-signature process is pretty simple here. All I need to do is just go ahead and pick the people that are going to be signing the document, right? And go ahead and create the document and send it off. So you can get really, really specific. You can get really, really that you can use like all the features of Documents Core Pack right in there. It's really good. So let's see, that brings us to the end of our presentation here. Just wanted to mention that there's free trials available for all of our add-ons. No functional limitations. It is fully supported during the trial, and it takes you about 30 minutes to get started. So everything that I've shown you today, you can actually do today. Well, you can do today. You do have to do some research, but you can do it today, right? I want to thank everybody for coming.